Hey, everybody. My name is Jen Raza, and I am one of the co-founders of Altenew. Maybe you've seen me around before. I do often teach these Facebook Lives, but I've also done workshops and other things for Altenew. So I am really excited to be joining you today because we have just recently released a brand new Paint a Flower to our collection. And the Paint a Flower series is a subscription. You can either purchase it as part of the subscription, or you can go ahead and use it as, or you could purchase it separately, like month to month, but the subscription's the best deal. So I would recommend that if you enjoy these. And the Paint a Flower designs have been designed to let you create your own beautiful colored creation with your favorite coloring mediums. So it's typically an arrangement of flowers, so you don't have to worry about stamping separate elements or die cutting anything. You just take that one image, stamp it down, and you can get started with coloring. Now I'm realizing I'm using a new interface and I am not seeing your comments. So let's see if I can get that to hop up. If not, I do have some backup. So Kat is going to be moderating. So if for some reason I can't get to your questions, Kat will be able to help you out. But I would love to be able to see your comments just so that I know who's in here and if there's anything that you guys need help with. So just give me a moment while I try to do this. Got it. All right, I just needed to click over. Perfect. So I can see that Christine is here, and Jean and Sue and Cece and a bunch of others. So make sure that while we're live, you share this video, because if you do, you'll be entered in to win a $15 gift certificate to the Altenew store, where you can purchase this lovely new stamp set that I'm going to show you, or anything else that you may have had on your wish list. Let me scroll up just to see if there was anything that I missed. Just a few of you have been sharing. So thank you so much for that. You guys beat me to it because you know the drill. A lot of you have been here for our lives before and you know what to do. All right, so let's get started with this stamp set. So this month we have the beautiful Paint a Flower White Swan Echinacea. And you can see what I was talking about before, that it's an arrangement of images that you can just stamp out in one shot, and then you can start coloring. So we wanted to make the Paint a Flower series, obviously for painters and people who like to use other coloring mediums. But if you're not into that, you can definitely stamp this out and do some paper piecing. But it's really fun to explore different color mediums. And I'm going to be doing that today. I'm going to try to go a little outside of my comfort zone. And I'm also going to be sneaking a peek of something that's to come later this month. So if you want to get a little ahead of the game, getting to see what's coming out soon, definitely stick around because I can't wait to show it to you. It actually just arrived on my doorstep this past week. And that's why I said it's a little out of my comfort zone, because I haven't had a lot of time to play with this. So we'll be seeing that soon. So yes, back to the stamp set. So I had to look up White Swan Echinacea just to remind myself of what colors, and it pretty much blooms in white. So you might think there's not much you can do with a white flower, but I'll be showing some things that you can do today to get a really light and airy look. Now the sentiments in here are stunning. When I pop you down, we'll take a closer look at those. And I just also want to point out our awesome trifold. So if you see here, we have a trifold insert card, and I love showing these off, I guess, because as a crafter, it's something that I really appreciate having whenever I get a new stamp set. So we're hoping that you guys feel the same way. You know, we're all crafters here. And to me, I think this is great for like those inspirational blocks when you just can't figure out your crafting mojo, and you just open up the packaging and boom, we've got ideas. Sorry. We've got ideas. We've got instructions, or not quite instructions, but more like a list of the supplies that you would need, products that you can pair this with to make an amazing project. And then of course, on the back, we have our QR code there, which you can scan. It'll hop you right to the product page where you can see what the designers and guests have done. That's a lot. All right, let me pop you down, and thank you to Just Country Girl, who shared this video on her platforms, and the others. Okay. Give me a moment. It just takes a second while my camera switches down to the other view. Excellent. And here are the sentiments included. We've got a virtual hug, sending a breath of my love, take care of yourself, sunshine, thanks, summer love, springtime, miss you, feel better soon, and to make you feel better. So of course, these are mix and match with the exception of like take care of yourself, which is just a standalone sentiment. So there's a lot of different things you can do with the sentiments here, and it's a great way to show someone that you care across the miles. And lastly, before we get stamping, I just quickly want to read the little product description here, because again, you want to get inspired before you create, and it's nice to know about the flower that you're going to be using. So we have send virtual hugs and sunshine to your loved ones with this delightful floral outline stamp set. The Paint a Flower set features a beautiful arrangement of 3 exotic white swan echinaceas and coordinating leaves. The included sentiments will help you add a sweet touch to your paper crafted products. Now, even though we have a flower that blooms in white, you can definitely go with any color you love. Look how beautiful they look in pink and in blue. So the sky is the limit when it comes to your options here. Now, what I did beforehand is I did quickly go over this with a dust-free eraser just to get rid of the shine that is on that stamp set from manufacturing. And I'm going to be using our Obsidian Pigment ink for this. Since it is a pigment, I'm going to need to allow it to dry a little bit, which is no big deal. Let me just grab a little piece of cardstock. What you don't want to do is stamp and then start coloring right away because you're likely to smudge that ink. Hey to Stacy. And Sue says she likes the sentiments, take care of yourself and virtual hugs. I do too, Stacy. Now, these don't come with coordinating dies because typically they're a larger image that takes up most, if not all, of an A2 size card front. Although this one's a little bit smaller, you'll notice compared to other Paint-A-Flowers, we have more sentiments and less of an image. So I think I'm going to do some fussy cutting. It's really not going to be hard. It's a large image that will be quick for me to go around with my scissors. So right now, when I stamp this down, I'm not worrying about placement one bit, because I know I'm going to cut it out anyway. Okay, so this is going to ink up really nice and dark because this pigment ink really is very, very black. I did not put the magnets down. My gosh. I bet someone out there was like, Jen, the magnets. You didn't put the magnets on. Okay, we'll be peeling it up this way. Right, I was going to smudge that after talking about not smudging. Oh, that was a close one. All right, let me just quickly wipe this off. When I use our Obsidian ink, if it's being a little bit stubborn, sometimes I will just go in with our stamp cleaning spray and just give it a quick little spritz. You don't need much. I don't like to put down too much stamp cleaner because then it gets all sunken into all the crevices and you end up with a mess that takes time to dry. Just a little bit does the trick. Okay, now normally I would color my design and then fussy cut it, but since we are trying to make sure that I don't do my coloring until this is dry, I'm actually going to carefully do my fussy cutting now. It's a little less convenient when I am doing the coloring, but it's not going to be too bad. Now I am just going to cut this down to a smaller size first. I find it's easier to manage when it's a smaller piece of cardstock. And I'm sure you guys know this tip out there, but in case we have some newbies, I like to use fine detail scissors because it's a lot easier than using something like this. So this has a fine point. And when I'm cutting out, I'm leaving a little tiny border around the edge. Now, our coordinating dies that come with many of our stamp sets leave a 1 millimeter border. So I'm just trying to replicate that without being perfect at all. If you want to get right up close to that image, you certainly can. But I like to just have that little bit of border, and I think it's easier as I'm cutting. I don't have to worry about getting that perfectly even all the way around. Now my right hand is fairly steady, just opening and closing the scissors, while my left hand is doing the work of maneuvering the cardstock. And again, got to be careful not to smudge that ink. Okay, now when I was doing my research on the white swan echinacea, I saw some different center colors. So these beautiful fuzzy centers are sometimes more yellow toned and sometimes more deep orangey red. So I thought it'd be nice to make them all a little bit different, each of the three. I know that they wouldn't be growing together if they were different, but it's a card. I could do whatever I want. Okay, let me just take a moment to see if I've missed any comments. Jean is saying what a beautiful flower it is. I agree with you. I like that it has a lot of petals. I think there's a lot of interesting things about this one. All right, now when it comes to coloring, I am most comfortable with watercolors, least comfortable with artist markers, and I would say in between with other coloring mediums. So what we're going to do is something a little bit different, and I'm going to use our blending brushes to do the centers of the flowers, and then I'm going to do the rest of the petals with that secret product that I told you we were going to do a sneak peek of. All right, so I'm going to start off with this. Let me just do a quick little check. It looks like we're good. And remember, I said some of these are more orangey and some of these are more yellow. So I'm just going to blend different colors. Let me see if I can show you the picture on my phone, actually. I don't know if it's going to show up easily, but you can see here more orangey, more red. And then there were others that were more even like yellowy green. The color's coming up a little bit weird on the screen, but you can see that there's a lot of different variety in those centers. And that's what I'm going for, is like a nice fluffy little arrangement. And 42 Rosie, thank you. She pointed out that they don't have to be growing together. This could just be a bouquet, right? I could get a vase. Ooh, that's a great idea. Like the versatile vases stamp set, and have them just coming out of a vase. Now we have varying sizes of these brushes. And then we also have others as well, like these. This would be a bit too big, so I'm definitely going to stick with these smaller ones. And I'm going to use our detail blending brushes. And these have an angled top to them like this. And you just use them like you would a pen or a pencil. And I love that this is going to give me a really soft look. Like I could have a very light hand here, just swirling around. And it's very soft, very delicate. I naturally get some beautiful variation in the colors. And I can just build that intensity any way I like. I'm going to add a little bit of Sunkissed. Let me see if I can bring you in a little bit closer so you can see better what I'm doing. And I was recently teaching a workshop where I use these same brushes, and I pointed out how calming it is to use them. I think it is because holding something like a pen or a pen, other supplies to get that same kind of look. Okay, so I'm keeping the center of this lighter, and I'm going around with the deeper color around the outer edge. And I think I'm just going to go in with some orange cream and really make the base of that a little bit darker, just for a very realistic, fluffy look. Okay, so you could kind of see how that's coming out so far. All right, now let's head over to the next one. For this one, I'm actually going to start with the orange cream. And we'll get to intensify that a little bit over here. I'll do exactly what I did before, just kind of going towards the base and adding some shadow, some shading. And as I'm talking, this is taking a little bit longer than it would if I was just crafting on my own. So this is very, very quick technique. And just a little bit more. If I really want to make it textured and fluffy, I could actually take this brush and almost stipple it instead of going in circles. So you see that effect right here? Almost can't, I'm sure. It's just like little dots and it looks very, very beautiful little texture. So let me add a tiny bit of that. So right now I have it all perfectly blended and just adding this little bit of detail just kind of pounced on there, I think is kind of cool. I'll do it to this one too. Oh, it looks so cute. So pretty. All right, we'll do the last one. Darker. This one came out actually a little bit darker than I wanted. This was supposed to be the yellow one. Yeah, maybe I'll make this the yellow one, and then I'll make this the red one, and that the orange one. So we'll give more color to that guy in a minute. Let me grab some lighter yellows right now, just so I can really make this one the lightest. I started on Warm Sunshine for the other one, but I'm thinking if I go a little bit lighter, that might be better. Oh, I have so many inks. Let's see. I don't want you to have to wait for me to find this. So let me just, I got it. Got some citrus burst, fresh lemon. I think this will be good. Let me just kind of brush off some of this. I'm going to do a little bit of cross contamination. I could clean off the brush first, but again, since we're live, you guys don't want to watch me wash brushes. So let's see how this goes first. Citrus burst. Yeah, there's still a little bit of the orange on here. Let's kind of brush it off. Okay, that should be good. I'm going to go in with a light hand. I think that's much more the yellow that I was imagining. And now I can go into the Warm Sunshine and deepen it up a little bit. So for anybody just joining, this is the new Paint a Flower White Swan Echinacea, which is a beautiful white flower, which I'm trying to replicate as best as I can, starting off with this lovely ink blending. Okay, this is looking very cute. And then for this last one in the top, I definitely want to make it more red. So which red should we go with? How about some Heartbeat? Much better. Okay, and I'll add that little stippling technique just by pouncing on. And now I've got these 3 flower centers. All right, so let's move on to the greenery. I'm also going to do ink blending for those. And I am going to switch out to a different brush for that. I've got this other little guy. And I'll grab Bamboo, Parrot, Olive, and Moss, aka pretty much the only greens I ever use because I'm boring like that. They're my favorite. I can't help it. I'm so predictable. All right, so you could see these are a lot smaller. Even with this tiny, tiny brush, it's going to be tough getting that exactly where I want it without some masking. So I just have these little, like, what are they called? Page things. That's not what they're called. Page, tab, Post-its. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm just going to use them as little masks. I'm not trying to be perfect, my friends. I just want to protect some of my cardstock. And I'm just pouncing through just like that. It's so easy. See, now I've got ink right where I want it. It's going to be a little bit harder here because we have some other petals to avoid. You can always use markers for this. You can use pencils. But I want to show you what's possible with these different ink blending tools because they're just really awesome. I love them so much. Okay. I'm going to go in and just add a little bit of color to these leaves. Don't worry, I'll be, oop, just went over spot. Don't worry, I'm going to be adding more to this later. So let me bring back my little protection mask. What's funny is there's a song stuck in my head. It's been in my head all week. It's Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. It's an awesome song. And there's a commercial now that uses this song. And I've always liked it. I like a lot of music by Queen. And Don't Stop Me Now has like great energy and it's just so much fun. But now that there's a commercial using the song, and I'm so sorry, I forgot what commercial it is. Every time I see the commercial, I'm so focused on the music that I haven't remembered what the ad is actually for. But anyway, I think it's such a fun song and it's been in my head for like the whole week and can't get it out. And I'm not complaining either. As I was getting ready for today's live, I went ahead and listened to it. Got me pumped, you know? I'm wondering, what type of music do you guys listen to in your craft room? Or maybe you don't listen to music while you craft. Maybe you like it to be a little more calming and quiet of an environment. Maybe you have kids and that's the only quiet time you get. Rosie was raised on Queen. Every car ride, her mom played the greatest hits. That's awesome. I think a lot of us kind of have similar tastes in music as our parents just because of things like that. Like I remember listening to the Beatles on long car rides, listening to show tunes with my family on car rides, listening to Queen and other classic rock. And now those are all the things that I like to listen to also. If you want to know more about music, I'm going to give a little plug right now to the Alta New podcast, the Craft Your Life podcast, which I host once per month. If you want to learn about my musical loves, go listen to the most recent, not the last, the most recent episode. And I'm there with Nicole Watt, who is lovely and talented and amazing. And she's also a music geek like I am. And I learned so much about her while working on that podcast episode. And it was really nice. So I hope you go listen to it and you can learn more about her too and where our musical and crafty lives intersect. Because she and I have a lot in common. Also, if there's ever anybody that you would like to see interviewed on the Craft Your Life podcast, like definitely let me know because I'm always reaching out to new guests. And I would love it if I got to interview some people that you were inspired by. Okay, just adding a little bit more. I'm not going to go crazy. Yes, there are green bits of leaves behind some of these other petals, but I want to get to that special secret sneak peek product. So we're almost at that point. Did I forget any other areas? Oop, right in there. That looks good. All right, so now we've added the greenery. We've got the flower centers, and I want to add some depth to these petals, and that's where I will be using our secret new product. I'm not sure how much of this to show you. I really want to show you the whole thing, but if I do, then there'll be no anticipation for when it actually releases later this month. So let me just clean up my area a little bit over here. And then once we finish this off, we're going to finish up the card. And I think it'll be a lovely little white swan echinacea product. Okay, so once I show this to you, you're going to say, oh, Jen, I've seen that before. You already have that at Altenew. Oh, but this is different. Definitely different. So over here, I have two colored pencils, which look a lot like our woodless watercolor pencils, but these are actually brand new woodless coloring pencils. Okay, so these don't have the watercolor properties as the other woodless pencils that we sell, but these are there to be like your standard coloring pencils, colored pencils, and they are awesome. Look at this fantastic artwork done with these pencils. There's a little booklet with some designer tips and blending ideas. Again, I'm not showing you too much here today because it is coming out in a few weeks, or maybe less than a few weeks. Oh my gosh, it's already, wait, when is it coming out? I said late August, but I think I meant late October. Sorry for misspeaking there. We actually had an earlier release date and we had to move it. So I don't know if Kat behind the scenes knows the release date on that. If you do, Kat, please pop that in because I don't want to confuse people. But anyway, these are wonderful colored pencils. And I'm going to be using a gray and a white just to add a little bit of detail to these petals. So I'm looking at the areas where the petals overlap. And I'm just putting a little bit of this gray right behind there. And I'm adding a little bit here towards the center as well, just in the areas where I think we'd have a little bit of shadow. And it's not much. I really don't want to make it dark because these should be nice, bright white petals if I'm going off of the actual white Swan Echinacea, which I'm going for. And the reason why I have the white, you might think, well, the paper's white. You don't need white. But the white actually helps to blend the different pencil marks together. So these are nice and soft, and they blend really well on their own. But using the white pencil is going to help me blend it more into the areas that aren't colored on that white cardstock. So just a little bit there, and now I'm going in with the white to blend. It's kind of like the colorless blender for alcohol markers. It does a similar thing. Okay, and I'm just going over these really quickly. And let's see if you can see that detail or if it's not going to show up for me. Oh, it's not showing up. Okay, I may have to be a little bit less subtle right now for the live than I typically would. So let me go in with a slightly heavier hand just so that this will show up on camera. I'm going to deepen those areas a little bit more just by adding some more pressure and going over it a bit more. Okay. And now once more with the white just to blend it. I'm hoping you'll be able to see this a little bit more. Please. Yes. All right. It's showing up a bit. Now I'm just quickly going to use the same technique to go over the rest of these petals. I'm seeing we get some questions. Does the white show up on colored cardstock? Not very well. It does a little bit, but here, this is what it looks like on the pink. You're still going to see the color tone of the cardstock come through. I do have some black. So white ends up being like a gray. So it's not like a pure white. You see the pure white here compared to how it comes out on the black cardstock. I can go a little heavier on my application and make it a little more opaquely white, but it's still not going to be this pure white. Okay, so that hopefully helps answer your question, Joni. And I love using more than one coloring medium on one piece. So I've often used colored pencils to add details to watercolor, but you can do the same thing here. I have some ink blending that I did, and now I'm just going back to add those little details with my colored pencils. Let me see if we got any release date yet. Nope, it's not popping through yet. So keep an eye out. Definitely keep an eye out. Especially if you love colored pencils or if you're new to colored pencils and you want to give them a try. All right, we're up to the last guy here, and then I'm going to quickly assemble a clean and simple card, which is my go-to card style. Don't stop me now. I'm telling you, I can't get it out of my head. It's like my new theme song. My husband's in the other room, and if he can overhear me, he's probably rolling his eyes because I can't stop playing that song. He tried to get it out of my head by playing a different song. That didn't work. But again, I told you before, I'm not complaining. Maybe the only thing that could get a Queen song out of my head is another Queen song. It's possible. Okay, there's a lot of subtlety here that I hope is coming through. See if I can block the light and you can see more of that. So I just added little bits of shadow here and there. Okay, and now we get to assemble our card. Naomi can't get it out of her head now. That's funny. I've like just implanted it in all of your brains. That's my gift to you guys. You get to see a brand new product, not yet released, and you get a song to walk away from, and it's going to be in your head all week now. All right, instead of creating a full card, you might know my spiel already. I create card fronts, so it's easier for me to store because I don't send out the cards I create right away. I typically will just store them in a box until I need to give them out. Let's do some more ink blending. I wasn't planning on it, but I've got other ink out. Let's add a bit of color to the back of this card panel. Rosie's singing. Oh, we all are singing. Kathy says she gets bad songs stuck in her head. You know, that's happened to me too, where I've gotten a bad song in my head, but usually I can kick it out with a good song. Man, this blue is not showing up much either. I think I need to learn some lessons for when I'm doing live videos, is that I need to use darker colors. Because having the bright light on my table, because the natural light is not so good today, I think it is washing out a little bit of this color. Okay, so I'll put the deepest here where my flower is going to be in the left corner. And I'm just letting it just fade off in the distance. By the way, this is our large ink blending tool. And it comes with this little carrier. And we've got nice bright white bristles that we have customized to be extremely densely packed, which makes them a lot easier to blend with. Okay, now let's see where we should stamp our sentiment. Probably gonna go up here. And I love the take care of yourself. So nice. I don't think we say that to each other often enough. And for this, I'm just going to use a little block here. I like the control of having my sentiments on a block that I can just hold in my hand instead of using like the Misty or other stamping positioner. And I'm using my Altenew Crafter's Essential Cutting and Alignment Matte. Sorry, not a map, it's a matte. And Obsidian Pigment ink. And I hold my breath. Got it. All right, I think I'm going to use some foam tape to pop that up. And then this little cute project will be ready to pop onto a card panel and sent to a friend or a loved one far, far away. I feel like everybody is far, far away right now. My entire family lives in Florida. at least on my side. So my husband's family is mostly situated in New Jersey. And I have not been to see my family, and they have not seen me since before the pandemic started. And I'm going crazy with that fact. It's just unfortunate that I haven't been able to see them yet. I'm going to put another little piece in the middle here. Oops. I'm realizing I grabbed my wrong adhesive. I've got my amazing roll of Altenew adhesive here. This is an old one that I've had forever. It's actually yellow and gross. And you can see how pretty my Altenew one is in comparison. So let me put that in the center. And I'm going to add just a little bit of pizzazz with these enamel dots. This is the newest set of enamel dots that we've come out with, the Essential Black and White enamel dots. And I think it will just make this look extra pretty. I'm terrible with placing enamel dots. I never know where they should go. I like them to look random, but thoughtful. I feel okay with that. And here is the project. It's so cute. I love it. All right, this is the Paint a Flower White Swan Echinacea. Let me just pop over quickly back to my face so I can talk to you and give you some reminders before I sign out. Lana says she doesn't know that we make a big roll of adhesive. Oh my gosh, we do. I will show it to you in full once I switch the camera because it is crazy and amazing. It's amazing. Okay. And I've used a lot of it. This is what it looks like after it's been used a bunch of times, and it's still so big. And the release paper is gorgeous because we've got flowers. It's so pretty. I've told this story before. I'm sorry if you have to sit through it again. But when we were testing out this product, we were testing like tinier rolls. And then when we tested a bunch, making sure that it was living up to the standards of what we wanted. We customized the product the way we wanted. And then it was time to decide how big the roll should be. And we didn't want to make one of those tiny rolls because, then it runs out and you got to buy more. So we picked like a yardage amount or something. We're like, that sounds good. That seems like a lot of tape. I think that's good. And then we got the tape in, and I promise you, I was not ready for what I saw. It was like coming out of a box. It's like, oh my gosh, here's the tape. But I love it. I love it that it's so big and it's not going to run out. And again, I'm not going to say what this old tape is, but you probably know what it is. And it's all like yellowed. And I feel like this tape gets yellow so quickly. And I've had this for a long while and it has not yellowed. We have nice bright white tape. So I'm a big fan of our big tape. And it's awesome. It's nice and sticky and it's a nice level of adhesive. So if you want that, Lana, I definitely support you putting that on your list. And that brings me to our last thing that I need to address. So if you did not share the video yet, you've got some time, not much, maybe a minute and a half, but share it now, because if you enter by sharing this live video while I'm still live, you will be automatically entered to win a $15 gift certificate. And you could put that towards the lovely White Swan Echinacea new Paint a Flower set. You can put it towards a massive roll of foam tape. You can put it towards the detail blending brushes or anything else that you have on your wish list. So do that now so you can be involved in that giveaway. And I'll show you the project one more time because I think it came out really cute. Sorry, I'm so bad at showing things straight to camera because left is right and right is left. It's not mirroring me, if that makes sense. And I always think like I'm going the right direction and I'm not. Okay, so here is our project using 2 different color mediums. We've got the detailed blending brushes with our dye ink, sneaky peek, we've got these two lovely, beautiful, versatile pencils that are coming out at some date that I don't know off the top of my head. And I don't think Kat has added in that date. So it seems like we just need to patiently wait for them to come out. And then you can see if it is something that you would like. All right, so that is it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me today in my craft room. I hope that I've inspired you to maybe do something crafty or creative today if you haven't already. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.